One of the smallest types of networks that we can think about is what's called an ad hoc network. Ad hoc, meaning that it is devised on the fly just in order to be able to enable the ability to support a couple of devices talking to each other. No central infrastructure is there. There's no access point to this. This is a classic example of a personal area network, an ad hoc network, where one device essentially starts up and says, you know what? I think we should all start communicating on this frequency, on this channel, and I'll give it a name so we can recognize it. That name is what is known as a service set ID value. Service set referring to a set of devices that are serviced at the same locale, right? So a service set ID. This is known as an independent basic service set, meaning it's independent of any physical wired network. This is all the ethereal wireless. And so we have these devices. One of them kind of sets the rules. All right, we're going to have this SSID. It's going to be called Jacob's Awesome Work Group. And we're going to be using this particular frequency, and great. Now these other devices can hear that that network is being broadcast by the first computer, so they can jump on board and say, oh, let's tune ourselves into that station, into Jacob's Awesome Wireless Network, and then we'll be able to communicate with each other. I mean, it's really that simple. You don't have to have any authentication. You don't have to have any higher level protocols necessarily operating here. Now, there are some limitations, though. Notice that these devices with this Venn diagram here are illustrating the fact that if one of these devices moves out of range, well, then we're not going to be able to communicate with each other. And these networks, remember, are all based upon essentially this shared airspace that we have in this zone right here. And that shared airspace means that there can only be one of us talking at any one time, right? Like the Highlander, there can only be one. So that means that it's not going to be a lot of traffic moving through here. It's not necessarily the most effective communication. It's limited. But although it is limited and not something that scales well, that's not its point. The point of this was to be able to set up a network that is simple to easily connect. And so that's why we have this idea of an ad hoc network. Now, this is considered legacy at this point, this type of network specifically. It does not support higher level security protocols like WPA2. You couldn't even implement it. Modern operating systems don't generally support it. And so so you're not going to see a lot of this now. It's not something we want to implement, but an ad hoc network is part of the evolution of wireless networks that we see as we try and connect different devices to each other just to be able to share some files or play a game or to do some quick communication, sharing contacts, whatever it might be between a couple of devices.